Vande Mataram students. Today we are going to learn about chapter number 2, chapter number 3, Geography Drainage, part 2. Part 1 video already I posted before a week ago. In part 1, we have learned about Himalayan rivers. Today, we are going to learn about peninsular rivers of India. Understand, when we are talking peninsular, the meaning of peninsular is area which is surrounded three sides by water bodies. Okay, and you are very well aware which part of India is known as the peninsular India. When we talk about peninsular rivers, we need to understand that Western Ghats form the main water divide in peninsular India. When we talk about peninsular India's rivers, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. These rivers flow eastward and they drain into Bay of Bengal. All these four major rivers are creating extensive delta on the eastern coast of India. The Tapi and Narmada are only two big rivers which flow west, and they do not make delta, they make estuaries and they drain into Arabian Sea. What is estuary? Remember I told you during our running class. Estuary is nothing else but tidal mouth. So when we compare drainage basin of Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers, obviously drainage basin of peninsular rivers are comparatively small in size. First river we are going to learn about Narmada. Narmada river is rising in the Amarkand hill. It flows to create Kyor in marble rocks of Madhya Pradesh. It creates picturesque location there. Narmada flows towards the west in a rift valley formed due to faulting. Near Jabalpur, it flows in the form of deep Kyor. In the marble rocks, in Duadar folds are two picturesque locations in that area. These river basins cover parts of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. It merges with Arabian Sea near Bharuch in Gujarat. We are coming to Tapi Basin. All of you are very well aware about Tapi because it is passing from very near area, and that is at Surat. It is originating in Betul, Madhya Pradesh in Satpura ranges. It also flows in a rift valley parallel to Narmada, but it is very shorter than Narmada. Tapi flows through a basin that create parts of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra and Gujarat, obviously. Now, apart from Tapi and Narmada, there are other west-flowing rivers which are important. They are Sabarmati, Mahi, Bharatpuzha, and Periyar. Now we are coming to east-flowing rivers of Peninsula. First is definitely Godavari. Godavari is the largest river of Peninsula. You can see here. Godavari begins in the Nasik district of Maharashtra and it's the largest peninsular river, 1,500 kilometers long. Its large basin covers most parts of Maharashtra, some part of Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Andhra Pradesh. Many tributaries join Godavari River. Purna, Varda, Paravihita, Manjra, Venaganga, and Penganga are notable ones. Venaganga and Penganga itself are huge rivers. Because of its length and drainage area it covers, Godavari is also known as the Dakshin Ganga. Godavari drains into the Bay of Bengal in Odisha and it's also create extensive delta. You can see here Godavari river. Start from somewhere in the Maharashtra, very near from this area, Nasik. From Vapi, discover Maharashtra. Its direct bases include some parts of the Madhya Pradesh and passes from Andhra Pradesh and finally Orissa and merges over here. Another river which we are going to learn now is Mahanadi. Mahanadi is also a long river. Length of Mahanadi is 860 kilometers. It rises in Chhattisgarh, flows through the Orissa and reaches to the Bay of Bengal. Mahanadi river basin is shared by Maharashtra, Orissa, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. The other two is flowing rivers are Krishna and Kaveri basin. Krishna's total length is 1,400 kilometers, only 100 kilometers less than Godavari, so it's a big river. It rises from a spring near Mahabaleshwar and from their west side to reaches to the east side, that is Bay of Bengal. The major tributaries of Krishna include Bhima, Musi, Kataprabha, Koida, and the Tungabhadra. The Krishna basin is shared by Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. All of you are aware about Tenali Rama, Krishnadev Rai. His kingdom was located on the river Krishna. His capital was on the bank of river Krishna. His kingdom was prosperous because of the river Krishna. Then we are coming to Kaveri Basin. It's originated from the Brahmagiri range of Western Ghat. It reaches to the Bay of Bengal at Kaveri Pattanam in the Tamil Nadu. It's sharing the basin of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. When I was teaching you this topic that time, I told you to find out about Kaveri water problem. Now, you do find out about Kaveri water problem. That problem is between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and do inform me when you meet me. The river Kaveri makes a second biggest waterfall in India known as Siva Samundaram. Other smaller rivers, Damodar, Brahmi, Bitarani and Subarnalekha are also east-flowing rivers. After completion of Himalayan rivers and peninsular river, we are coming to the now lakes. About Indian water bodies. You need to understand lakes are very important for a country. Okay. In India, most of our lakes are permanent, but there are few lakes which contain water only during the rainy season. Now, some of Indian lakes are result of glacier action and ice sheets, and some may have been formed by wind, river action, or human activities. There are man-made lakes also. So dam lakes, so they are man-made lakes. Mainly, there are other man-made lakes also. A river meandering across a floodplain forms cutoff, and that later develop into oxbow lakes. Which river is famous for creating oxbow lakes? I've already informed you about. It's Ganga River. Glacier lakes are formed when glaciers dig out a basin which is later filled with snow-melted water. Some lakes like Vular Lake in Jammu Kashmir, that lake is because of result of tectonic activity. Apart from natural lakes, the damming of the river for the generation of hydropower has also led to the formation of lake. Bhakra Nangal Lake. Even our own Sardar Sarovar Lake is because of damming of a river Narmada. Lakes are very useful. It regulate the river water flow. It prevent flooding. It aid to the develop hydropower, moderate the climate, maintain aquatic ecosystem, enhance nature beauty, develop tourism and provide recreation. Our famous hill stations like Nainital, Darjeeling, not Darjeeling, Nainital, Srinagar, they are on beautiful lake. Nainital is on Naini Lake. Nainital is famous for Naini Lake and Srinagar is famous for Dal Lake. You are aware about that. Here you can see lake created by damming on the river. Now, rivers are very important for the economy because first of all, it's a basic source of survival. It's a natural source of water, you know that. From past settlements, human settlements have been developed on the river banks. From Mohenjo-daro onwards, even before that, our country is known for the Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb. That is a civilization which is on the bank of Ganga and Jamuna. Okay. With the time, settlements on the river banks have developed into the cities. We have an example of London, which is on Thames River. We have an example of New York, which is on Addison River. We have an example of Paris, which is on the bank of Afan River. Delhi, which is on the bank of Yamuna, or Calcutta, which is on the bank of Hooghly. Rivers are used for irrigation. Look, India is an agricultural country. River water is very important for us. It is used for navigation, transporting goods, hydropower generation. Hydropower generation is must for the industrialization and modern agriculture. So understand, rivers are very useful. India is an agriculture country. Agriculture economy, our economy is agrarian economy. So water of rivers are very, very useful to us. Okay, it's a food source. Yeah, it's also generate income through the tourism. Mainly in India, religious tourism. Haridwar, Varanasi, Patna, Allahabad. These places are having great tourist attractions. And they all are on the bank of river Ganga. Ganga itself is considered as very holy river. You're aware about that. River pollution is also a big issue because of human population, which is eventually creating pollution. Quality of water is affected by growing domestic, municipal, industrial, and agriculture demand. And why these demands are growing? Because population is increasing at the state. A heavy load of untreated sewage and industrial effluents are emptied into the river, affecting the river's self-cleaning property. Concerns of rising pollution in rivers leads to the many launching of various action plans to clean rivers. All of you should be aware about GAP, that is Ganga Water Cleaning Action Plan. Now all the plans of water cleaning are merged with the National River Conservation Plan. And you need to understand, we need to conserve our rivers for our own survival, for survival of our economy. So here our chapter number 2 is over. I have said you both the videos. First, drainage 1, where we learned about Himalayan river. And in this video, we are learning about Peninsular river. Jai Hind.